Be honest with me. How many times have you told yourself, I'll feel confident when? When my skin clears, when I lose weight, when I finally look perfect. But actually, that belief is keeping you stuck. The truth is, your confidence isn't waiting for you in the future. It's something you can embody right now. And today I'm going to show you how. Welcome to Unmasking Skin, the podcast for women ready to soften, rise, and glow from the inside out. I'm Tabitha Isabel, but you can call me Tabby. I'm a skin health specialist and the creator of the Skin Triangle Method. And here we blend skincare, nervous system healing, and feminine embodiment. But this isn't just about skin. It's about joining a movement of women who refuse to wait until they're perfect to feel enough. Because your glow was never just about your skin. It's about who you become when you feel safe, radiant, and fully seen. So if you're ready to step into your highest self and glow anywhere, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's episode. For so many of us, we grow up with the belief system that I'll feel confident when my skin clears, my body changes, and my life looks perfect. We're always kind of searching for that perfection, the one that is kind of thrusted upon us probably from the time we were born. Especially as women, we have so many societal expectations to look perfect, feel happy and good all the time, and carry that smile on our face no matter what is going on in our life and how we feel in ourselves. But this isn't the actual reality of what's going on beneath the surface, and it's about time that we reclaim the narrative that we have to feel confident when we reach that really hard to reach societal norm. Now we are in an age of social media, and while it comes with so many, and when I say so many, I mean so many positives. I mean, I would not be here doing this today if social media did not exist. But it also comes with so many negatives, so much more societal pressure to fit into the standard, to take those weight loss injections, to use those filters, to have the same face, the same body, the same smile and set of teeth as every other person on the internet. And if we don't fit in, we don't feel good enough, we don't feel beautiful, we don't feel confident, we don't feel enough. We really don't. And it is such a shame that we are kind of thrusted into this narrative even before we realise that it's consumed our lives. I am honestly saying this truthfully. There are very few women in my life that I know that haven't had an eating disorder, haven't felt horrible when they've seen, people on social media and the things that we are kind of brought to live up to. It affects our careers, how we perform in our jobs. It affects our relationships, how we show up for ourselves, for other people. It affects the love we give and the love we have for ourselves. And it is such a hard thing to witness when you are someone that is aware of what's going on and the effect that other people have on people. Now, I am exactly like that. So when I was a teenager, I absolutely fell in love with exploring my self-expression. In particular, makeup was something that I really, really loved doing. And it was one of those things where I saw the teenagers around me, my peers, and they were, looking beautiful, fitting that societal norm. And I begged my mum to start makeup. I was like, I really want to, start expressing myself. I really want to look beautiful and fit in and feel better about myself. And my mum let me start makeup, and I'm not kidding, I spent every single evening after school watching hours and hours of YouTube makeup tutorials. Usually it was Zoella or Tanya Bear or someone like that. And it didn't change necessarily how I felt about myself inside. I was trying to chase something that was unattainable. I was trying to chase feeling good enough through external validation. And that is not something that you really can receive. And that is kind of a hard thing to wrap your head around, that even when you try and live up to these things, there is no amount of trying that will get you to feeling enough if you don't feel good enough inside. So when I was a teenager, I quickly got severe acne. And then all of this effort that I was trying with my makeup, it really didn't matter, because now I was even more isolated from my peers. I was even more not fitting into that stereotypical box of what I should be and act and look like. And that was a really hard time for me, because not only was I bullied for my appearance, but that kind of feeling of not feeling enough and not feeling like I fit in, it really weighed on me and caused a surge of depression. And also, I got skin dysmorphia because of this experience, which lasted me even to this day. And I'm not sure if it's something I will ever truly get over. It's one of those things that I have to pay attention to and overcome when those feelings arise, when I get triggered by something, and it's working through those feelings again that are rooted deep inside of me now because of all of my experiences. And it was a very long time, even after I cleared my acne, that I was able to leave the house without makeup on, that I would take photos of my skin that were authentic, that weren't using filters. And also just showing up in my life was really hard, because I had that really deep-rooted fear of being seen and feeling like I wasn't good enough. And so it was much easier to hide myself, because then that fear wouldn't come true, because there was no way that it could be like becoming true. Because if I didn't show anyone how I looked or how I fit that, well, didn't fit into that box, then they couldn't judge me. And it took me maybe 10 years, a whole decade, before I started to heal that relationship with my skin and heal that relationship with my self-confidence as well, and actively learn to love myself for how I am. And it's one of those things, it's always a journey. You reach the level that you're aiming for, and then you need to up level even more, because there is always new stories that are coming up, always new beliefs that are going to resurface from when you were younger, and the life experiences you've had and things that you've inherited from other people's stories as well, and how they've perceived themselves. And it is one of those things that it does take time, and that, progress is never linear, and that is quite a hard thing to deal with sometimes. But this isn't just about skin. It's truly about the societal conditioning for women and our perceived notion that our worth equals our appearance. Because it's constantly thrusted into our face that we should look like this model in the magazine, and all of these influencers who have got plastic surgery and fillers, and they no longer look like their natural selves. So we're constantly trying to attain this level of beauty that is forced, that is not authentic, that is not natural, and that is unattainable unless we get all of these fillers and plastic surgery. And let me tell you, getting those things does not heal the relationship you have with your skin or your body or your appearance. All it does is it's just covering it more, and then you just feel less like yourself, and you're just not coming home to yourself and healing that relationship. It doesn't magically solve all of the issues. When I had acne and I was, thinking about what it would be like to have clear skin, I got to clear skin, and I had to grieve my skin, because I had the naive notion that when my skin was clear, it would go back to how it was. But of course, I had scarring, I had pigmentation, I had the aftermath of dealing with acne, and I perceived that when I would have clear skin, it would be a magic fix and I would feel better about myself. But that was not the case. And that is exactly how it is as well. So it is really hard. And the belief that your worth equals your appearance keeps you stuck. It keeps you disconnected. And it always kind of keeps you chasing the next fix, because you're looking for something external to solve how you feel about yourself, when you should be focusing on the internal. So how do we go about resolving this? How do we feel better in ourselves? How do we come home to ourselves and have that confidence where you can leave the house without makeup on? You can walk down the street and not think all of those thoughts like, oh my God, people staring at me. I feel really horrible myself. I feel ugly. We can change the narrative for ourselves. And when we do this and we show up authentically, naturally us, in our most transformative and incredible authentic energy, what that does is it creates a ripple effect, and people will see that. They will get triggered by that. And then they hopefully will do the work. They will heal themselves, and then they will show up authentically themselves as well. This is why it's more than just skin confidence. It's a movement that I want you to claim and be a part of, because if you start showing up authentically yourself, what if for generations to come, that creates a society where we no longer chase, performative beauty? What if it ripple effects and it changes the narrative? So, where do we start? Nervous system dysregulation keeps you in constant fight, flight, and freeze, which means that your body feels like it has no safety, and then you feel like you have no confidence. But really, confidence isn't a mindset, it's a body state. And when your body becomes regulated and you start embodying that future version of yourself that you desire to be, you stop hiding and you heal that relationship with yourself. When you feel calm and safe in your body, you're creating positive pathways in your brain that say it's okay to show up as I am. It's safe to, nothing bad is going to happen. And the more you kind of embody that, the more this will cement into your brain and the more those pathways will be created. It's actually magical, it really is. So, a few steps to get you started. Start thinking about why it's scary to show up, why you feel fear of being seen. And if you can sit with those feelings and consider why they are there in the first place, getting to the why uncovers a lot of your story that you've been consistently telling yourself, probably for years. Just like my story was about having acne and the fear of being seen, because that fear of being seen was cemented when I was being bullied consistently for my appearance. It told my body that it was unsafe to be witnessed authentically, because every time I was, my nervous system went into dysregulation. It told me, to freeze, to fight, to flight, all of those cues. It told me that it was unsafe. And then what that did was created that fear of being seen. And then that rippled into other things in my life. I would no longer go out with friends because it felt like it was too scary to be seen. I would no longer kind of participate in school activities. I became more reserved. I became more isolated. Then I started looking after myself less because I was like, well, what's the point? My self-worth kind of dimmed, my self-esteem dimmed. And it was all rooted in that fear of being seen, because that situation cemented to me that I wasn't worthy enough as I am. And that wasn't the truth of it. That was, external factors, external validation. And I had to work really hard to kind of uncover that and be like, that's why. That's why it's really scary to be seen, to be witnessed. But obviously, when I started my business and all of a sudden I had to market myself and put myself out there, that was so difficult, because the first time in such a long time, I had to face that fear of being seen, but in such a large capacity where it was so scary for me. And I really had to work through that and regulate my nervous system before I did things that would cause that fear of being seen. So before I posted photos of myself on social media, I'd have to do like tapping, so EFT, and tap through my pressure points and say, the affirmations like it's safe to be seen, I'm loved as I am, I'm enough as I am, all of these things. And that's kind of the second thing. So once you find out the why, it's about having those nervous system regulation tools to be able to come home to yourself and to heal those stories, to kind of rewire your subconscious beliefs so you can start showing up as your authentic, natural, and most loving self. And that is where true happiness kind of stems. So having those nervous system tools are fantastic. EFT is amazing, meditation, breath work, all of these things. And the next thing that I recommend you to do is embodiment. Now, this is the hardest part. It's kind of taking the actions where you're feeling the fear and you're doing it anyways, and you're proving to yourself through consistent action that being seen isn't actually scary. So it's that exposure therapy, that exposure to the thing that you're most afraid of, because when nothing bad happens, you're cementing to yourself that you're safe. And really, the only person's opinion that needs to matter to you is your own. Because if you love the person you are, nothing else matters. Nothing. You're not going to get to the end of your life and think, wow, I regret, I don't know, being friends with Tracy because like she wasn't aligned. You're going to think, wow, I really loved myself and I set boundaries in my life and I showed up authentically as me, and that's all that I needed to do. These are really powerful things. They really are, and they are quite challenging, I'm not going to lie. They do take time, they take consistency, and they really do take motivation to want to change, to want to become better, to want to be a part of the narrative that changes societal expectations and how we show up for ourselves, for our daughters, for our granddaughters, for our great-granddaughters, and be a part of the new society that we are changing and transforming, where we show up as ourselves. We stop waiting for external validation and we stop trying to fit ourselves into a box that we were never meant to fit in the first place. You really just have to think about, what would my highest self do right now? And practice doing that in small ways, because it's about bridging from the now version of you to the future version of you. And doing those little things, they really help you feel ready now, even before your skin, your life, your appearance, whatever it is, before those things fit that perfect narrative. And it really isn't just about skin. Like I said, it's about leading a movement of women who stop waiting to glow and just glow anywhere. You don't wait for permission anymore, because now is the best time to act. If you're constantly waiting for permission, what are you actually waiting for? Because you could give yourself permission right now. You're never going to feel ready. You just have to decide that you're ready right now. If this resonated, imagine what's possible when you're supported in this every single month. This is just a snippet of what my membership and Inner Circle, She Glows Anywhere, is all about. And on October 1st, 2025, She Glows Anywhere opens for the first time, and I'm so excited. It's literally your safe space for confidence, nervous system healing, glowing, and stepping into that most authentic version of yourself, so you can be a part of this movement from day one. I would absolutely love to welcome you inside, so stay tuned, it's coming. And if you want to sign up for the waiting list or have more information, go to my website tabithaisabel.com, and all the information will be there, and it's also going to be in the show notes as well. So until next time, remember, your glow was never just about your skin. I'll see you next week for another episode of Unmasking Skin. See you then.